Hey, welcome to Rankings Uncut. Of course, I'm Jonah Willard, my homeboy Clayton Guillory in the house. Of course, man, listen, we were trying to watch a little NFL football, so don't rush us online, man. We know we said 10 o'clock. We're trying to see these plays, man. We're trying to see these plays. Football is back. NFL is back. Man, Thursday nights. I ain't seen this on my TV in a minute, Clay.
Back in full swing, Jonah, and I'm going to tell you, whether if you enjoy high school football, college football, youth football, NFL football, it is back. And I'm going to tell you, it's no greater feeling for me to turn on ESPN and be able to watch SportsCenter and not have to worry about sitting through a whole episode of just baseball highlights, man.
I was watching the rerun. Guess how bad it was for me? I'm going to tell you how bad it was for me. I was watching a freaking rewind of Friday Night Titans. The
hell? hey, you must have been ready to commit suicide, then.
Come on, Marcel. I'm like, oh, Lord, I'm in the twilight zone. I'm stuck.
Oh, man.
But yeah, man, of course, if you watch football, you're not living under a rock. It's been some exciting football the last couple of weeks, man, just really defining and closing preseason. Man, we've been all over the country, Clay. We've seen some great football games on the West Coast, down in the South, over in Alabama, man. Talk about a little bit about the recap and what really stood out in your mind in the preseason.
So here's the thing, man, and I was talking about it a little bit last night on the breakdown. Man, I went to 7 national preseason events, Jonah. 7, and I'm talking about East Coast, West Coast, Midwest, every time zone, Arizona, Texas, California, Alabama, Florida. I mean, it didn't matter. I was there. So my thought process is this. If I didn't see you, you weren't trying to be seen. You know what I'm saying? Because we did some traveling in the months of July and August, and anybody that knows what this heat wave has been like in the United States, but especially down here in the South, man, it's been biblical.
Yeah.
So to be outside for 2-3 days in this 100-degree weather, man, is taxing, man. But I'm gonna tell you, it was all worth it because one thing that happens every year, you always find a new team that you didn't know nothing about, or somebody shocks you and shows you something that you wasn't really expecting. Man, between that and watching, the lives, you keeping me updated what's going on in Florida with all the lives and things like that, man. I mean, it's been a really, I will say this, and maybe you agree with me, maybe if you don't. If we think about the past 3 or 4 preseasons, it has definitely been some dramatic finishes. This preseason compared to some other places, right?
Absolutely. Well, Clay, I'll say this. This has been the most unpredictable preseason in regards to, for example, we really never seen so many YNC champs be challenged because their team's either not the same or the competition level. You talk about Rampage being a champ facing the OC Ducks. You talk about DEA being a champ facing the IB Braves. So it's been some challenges for them to really just play some football. But as we always say, when the dust settles, you'll really kind of see who's who and what's what, man. So the dust is settling now. We really got a chance to and we don't come out with preseason ranks for the mere fact we want to see football. And speaking of wanting to see football, Clay, there's a lot of teams that they'll feel their position high and they want to shut it down. What do I mean by shutting it down? They don't want to play no more football. Hey, man, you want to play football, you got to come to my front yard to play football. Not just my city, just not my town. Now my home address is such and such and such. Listen, man, you can't shut it down. And I will tell you this, and we won't touch on this too much because this is all about, the initial premier rankings. But if a team comes to your city, Clay, and you rank, and it's no financial inconvenience to you. You don't got to go get on a bus. You don't got to spend no money because we can't call your pockets. But if they in your city, bruh, you got to take that fade. It ain't no running away from it. Oh, well, we don't, you got to take it. So We just don't want to promote scared football. That's not going to be happening here with Generation X, YNC. We don't promote scared football at all. And we also can't tell you how to call your pockets. Remember what I just said. If a team is coming to your town and they're in your town, you got to take that fade.
And it's true, Jonah, man. I will say this, man. There has been some big time matchups that could have happened this preseason that didn't happen. I was very disappointed in. And I've seen it all over the country. But one area that it was really prominent in was at our last preseason event, in California. Anytime I was on the phone with somebody and there was a possibility that they had to play the OG Ducks on any age level, it was a problem. And I didn't understand that. Like, how can a whole coast be afraid of one organization?
Right.
But it just shows that everybody is not cut from the same cloth. Everybody can't perform, on that stage. And that's the thing about it. One thing about myself, when we analyze this thing this year, anybody that is not trying to play the best teams, that's dodging the fade, that's coming up with every excuse in the book, I think we should penalize them in the rankings, man. Because ultimately, it doesn't do any good for a team to play 4 of the top 5 teams in the country and maybe go 2 and 3, but you got teams that won't even play one top 5 team in the country and they undefeated and they screaming they should be in our rankings.
Right.
I mean, at what point? Listen, if you want to play rec ball, they've got some rec ball stages for you, right? If you want to play at the YMCA, you want to play Pop Warner, you want to play local intramural.
You ain't say the YMCA. You ain't just say the YMCA.
Hey, you can do that. But if you trying to be on the YNC stage, if you're trying to be on Generation Next, if you're trying to be talked about by Jonah and Clayton on Rankins Uncut, you need to travel and look for the fade. That's what it is. I mean, hey, it's really no other way to talk about it. I don't understand it, especially in the preseason. I'll take those 3 L's in the preseason to go undefeated during the regular season because now I know what I need to work on and then roll through my playoffs and become a state champion and then look Jonah and Clayton in the face and say, now what? Where's my invite?
Yeah. 100%.
It just don't make sense.
And I'll give credit to somebody like, a DeMarcus with the Rare Breeds, even though he's number 1 team, even for the last couple of years, and not everybody's finances are the same. We get that. But he's going out there and search for the fade. He's went out there to California, played the Ducks, played other teams, went out to Vegas, went out to North Carolina. So that's what it's all about. When you carry that torch, just like you're an Olympian, you carry that torch as a YNC champ, man, it's out there. It's time to go represent the brand. And the brand is not timid or scared football.
Well, here's the thing, Jonah. I know, again, we cannot count other people's pockets, right? But here's the one thing I will say here. Any organization that wants to travel and play competitive teams and you need some help financially, is Clayton finna give you some money out of his personal bank account? Hell to the no. But I can tell you this. I do have a very good fundraising platform that I can introduce you to that can get your finances in line. So if you think you got a shot at nationals, holla at me now. I've got a fundraising fundraising network that will help you get to nationals. If you want to start planning for next year's preseason, you're like, you know what? I'm tired of Clayton and Jonah shooting slugs at me on the slide. Let me get my money right for next year's preseason because I'm finna go to all these events. Holla at me now. I have a fundraising platform in place that can be beneficial for any organization. It don't matter if you in what league you in, what part of the country you on, just holler at your boy. And I will gladly introduce you to how you can fundraise and get your kids that experience and exposure that they deserve.
Absolutely. Well, Clay, it has been a long 6 to 8 weeks that these people have been waiting for this day, this particular Thursday. Edition
the
1.
Blue Magic. Hey, they want that Blue Magic, man. Hey,
man.
That other shit is stepped on. We pure. That other shit is stepped on. We pure. They want this Blue Magic right now, man.
Look, a lot of people are gonna be happy on this live, and a lot of people are gonna be sad on this live. Some inboxes gonna be some great inboxes. Some other inboxes gonna call me and Clay every name under the sun. But we got
Hold
blocked
on,
for
hold
all
on,
that. We
Jody.
good.
Before you go any further, so last night,
Yeah.
man, I put out a what if bracket, not based on
Right.
rankings at all. And I was transparent. I
Right.
said, listen, guys, this is not based on rankings. This is based on all the teams that I have seen
Right.
film on, or I've talked to somebody in that area that I highly respect and they've spoken well on this team. I put
Right.
some brackets up, bro. Man, I can't tell you how many people jumped out their apartment building and committed suicide today. The shit was crazy. And I told y'all it wasn't based on rankings. Man, I got cats texting me. I got cats in my
Right.
DM. I got tagged in
Right.
by 80,000 comments today. It's crazy, man. It's
And
crazy.
you know that overflowed into my inbox, man. Jonah, what you and Clay talking about? I'm like, man, I woke up in the morning like with 920 inbox. I'm like, what's this? Oh Lord, Clay, you done set it on fire. So yeah, man, but that's good, man. Everybody paying attention to football. It's a great platform that nationally that everybody paying attention. All the dots are connected from East Coast to West Coast. And that's what we love, man. So this is just week one, man. It's a long football season. Everybody just got to get in there and play some football. We see the potential of what Nationals could look like. And I can tell you, Nationals this year, if it stays how it's staying now, will be an absolute movie from 6U all the way to 14U. If you blink, you'll miss action, 100%. So, man, Clay, we're going to jump right into the 6U. These are what the people want to see. They trying to watch the Rams at the corner of the eye and Buffalo Bills at the corner of the eye. But now we're going to give them a little something. Let me go ahead and slide this over a little bit so I could be on the same page with you. And we'll start from number 15 and count it on down at the 6 and under. Hey, and listen, we're reading these off. We'll have all the graphics on Instagram or Facebook because we know y'all want to screenshot it, show it to your peoples, wear it on your chest, print some T-shirts for week one. Not saying it's going to stay the same way. It changes every week. So we will have everything printed up for everything, all the artwork's done, and we're ready to and release it. But today is about go ahead and showing them baby some love. So Clay, you got the floor.
All right, so getting this thing started off right, man. I'm gonna give y'all first little taste of that blue magic here on 6U. Starting off at number 15, Great
Yeah,
Elite out of New York. Number 14,
6U.
ABN Baby Bullies out of Texas. Number 13 on 6U, Fayette County Blue Devils out of Georgia. Number 12, Matry Ravens out of Alabama. Number 11 on 6U, Matthews Dickey War Dogs. Now we going to the top 10, guys. Top 10 teams in the country on 6U. Sitting at number 10, Lauderdale Lake Vikings out of Florida. The number 9 6U team in the country, Southeast Dallas Wolverines out of Texas. The number 8 6U team in the country, Maryland Heat. Number 7, NC United, of course, out of North Carolina. The number 6 6U team in the country, Oak Cliff Titans, out of the greater Dallas, Texas area. Number 5 6U team in the country, Bessemer Tigers, out of Alabama. When we talking about a team, organization that is known year after year on every age group. Number 4 6U team in the country, Pompano Chiefs, out of South Florida. The number 3 6U team in the country, Duval Jaguars. The number 2 6U team in the country, ABA out of Georgia. And right now, the number 1 6U team in the country, as we sit today on Rankings Uncut, Atlanta Elite out of the A, Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah. Yeah, and those were some big games, man. I just saw Pompano Chiefs defeat, Lauderdale Lions. Excuse me, Lauderdale Lakes Vikings this weekend, and man, they looking sharp. And Cliff Oak, a lot of people have not heard about Cliff Oak. They knocked off SED earlier this year, man. So you got to pay close attention to this 6 and under to know these power moves that's going on at the baby baller's age. And man, congratulations to those top 15. Keep it moving. It's going to change every week. We'll be adding, we'll be deleting. As we're evaluating and scouting this entire season. So we're going to jump right into the 7U, and I'm going to kick it off with the Rising. These are the rising top, top 5 teams that we say outside of the top 5. These are the top 5 that's trying to break into the top 10. So let's take it from the bottom. West Orlando Jags coming in at the 15th spot out of Florida. Oklahoma Impact out of Oklahoma coming in at the 14th spot. Playmakers Elite out of Maryland, man. Listen, had some great action. Saw them out there in California. Just took a big loss this weekend, but they'll bounce back. They were way up there in the rankings, but just this week they just took an L. Surges Hornets out of Pennsylvania balling out. And at the 11th spot, just at the up and rising teams, Osceola Cowboys out of Florida. And the top 10 coming in at number 10, Maryland Elite. This is a team that, listen, they feel can make a run out of the East Coast area for all the marbles. So keep an eye on that team at the 7 and under. Atlanta Elite coming in representing at the number 9 spot. Gorilla Mob, listen, Clay, they was up there earlier in the year, took an L, but they still hanging around, still got a potential to strike to get back into the race for the top 3 or 4. This is a team you got to watch all year. Maryland Heat balling out. 2 strong Maryland teams, Maryland Elite and Maryland Heat. Don't mix up the two. 2 different but dynamic squads at the 7 and under. And, of course, the defending national champs, RDU. Couple losses at the beginning of the season, but they went through the same thing last year. Had a couple bumps at the preseason. At the end of the season, they meshed, they gelled, and everything was rolling. And, of course, a team that went in and did a big knockoff. Nobody heard of this team in the preseason. But like you said, Clay, this is an opportunity in the preseason to really find some teams that you don't notice. Louisiana Tigers wasn't heard of last year. Came in and knocked off big teams this year, holding tight in the top 5. A lot of Hill Lakes, of course, a.k.a. the Dog Pound. Only loss is to RDU. And Bessemer Tigers was holding what we thought would be coming in at the number 1 spot this week. Just took a loss to the Jags. And, of course, the Party Boys, man, this team is super impressive. Watched them several times. They fly to the ball. Super tough, undefeated on the season thus far. SED Wolverines coming at number 2. And a new number 1 that has not been at this age group before, holding it down, out of Duval Jazz coming in at the number 1, Clay. The boys been doing it big.
No doubt. And before we go to AU, Jonah, man, I'm gonna have you back for a moment, man, because I see my people out of Dallas, man. They on you hard right now on the comments. Uh-oh. Listen, guys. Listen.
Talk to
Jonah did not know that it was Oak Cliff. All right, guys, on 6U. I guess you said Cliff Oak. I didn't catch it myself, but they taking that personal. So Jonah's gonna fix it, guys. It's Oak Cliff. Oak Cliff.
But hold on. How would Jonah fix that when Jonah didn't read the 6U?
I don't know, man. That's just what they said. I didn't even hear you say it, so who knows?
So hold on. Let me correct y'all people. If y'all mad at somebody, go in your own city, go in your own town, and look at your Texas homegrown. Because I ain't calling no 6U, bro. Oakland was a 6U team.
Oh, man. But I tell you what, man. I mean, you're 100% right, though, Jonah.
Y'all forgive Clay. Don't let them be like they do California. They told them California people they couldn't come home for 7 days and 7 nights. Y'all can let Clay home.
Hey, but one thing is for sure, Jonah, like you said, when you are traveling and watching these events, man, you seeing teams that you knew nothing about. I first saw that Louisiana Tigers team on 7U at the Ricky Sanchez kickoff. And teams that I thought was going to win it, man, they came out there and wiped everybody out, man. So that's the great thing about these preseason events, because you never know who has loaded up. You never know where kids have gone, coaches have gone. It can change the whole dynamic of this youth football atmosphere.
You're absolutely right.
All right. So let's roll on to to 8U, Jonah, because you know that's exactly what they want to hear next. 8U. So as we roll over to 8U, we're going to start down at number 15. And again, like Jonah mentioned when we were talking about 7U, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15 are our 5 squads that are on the rise. So at number 15, we have the Mob Squad Tigers out of Tennessee. Sitting at number 14, Tarrant City Ducks out of Alabama. And I'm going to tell you, I was impressed with them when I saw them at the Alabama event up close and personal. Number 13, the Laurel Stallions out of Maryland. This is a particular team that I really want to see. I've yet to see them play up close and in person, everybody I talk to in the DMV area and on the East Coast have positive things to say about them. I hope this is the year that they decide, let's do something a little different than what we've done in the past. Maybe they get an invite to the YNC and we can watch them perform. Sitting at number 12, you have the Lauderdale Lakes Vikings out of Florida. And then number 11, Indy Firehawks out of Indiana. And I'm going to tell you, Jonah, I don't know much about the Indy Firehawks, but I will tell you this.
Yeah.
I didn't have them on my bracket yesterday, and they tore my ass up on social media. So they must got a strong following, bro.
Right, they got a strong following, man.
All right, top 10 at 8U. Sitting at number 10,
we go. Yeah.
Orlando Outlaws out of Florida.
I like it.
Sitting at number 9. And new probably to the top 10 for us in 8U, because I don't remember them being there last year. Louisville Dolphins out of Kentucky.
Yeah, ball.
The number 8 8U in the country right now, and looks like to be the top team off the West Coast at the age level. OG Ducks out of California. And then a scrappy 8U team, man, that gave it everything they had when we saw them up close in person in Alabama. CBE. Also known as the Sawboys, Cincinnati Bearcats elite out of Ohio. Number 6 8U team in the country. There goes that name again. Bessemer Tigers out of Alabama representing. And then, of course, number 5 team in the country, Crescent City Chargers out of the great state of Louisiana.
Yes, sir.
Number 4 8U team in the country. And I'm gonna talk about 3 and 4 together, Jonah, because I happened to witness them go head to head in a classic preseason matchup at the YNC event in Houston. Sitting at number 4, Rare Breeds out of Georgia, and then number 3, who got the close victory to them head to head, SED Wolverines out of Texas.
Yeah,
number like 2 8U team. Go ahead.
I like this age group, Clay, because it's starting to get a little diversity in it. Of course, the number 1 team got a headway, but it's starting to really get some nice competition in this age group.
Most definitely. Number 2 8U team in the country, Pac Prime out of Texas. That was the YNC national runner-up last year, and when we saw them in the preseason, looked like they still firing on all cylinders. And your number 1 8U team in the country right now, and 2-time defending back-to-back YNC national champion, Atlanta Elite, a.k.a. Voodoo.
Voodoo Atlanta Elite. You don't got to like him, but you definitely got to respect him, Clay.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely.
Man. So we starting to hump through this. Listen, when we come back, 9U, the top 9U teams in the country. We'll have our top 5 rising teams that's rising in the top 10. I can't wait, man, when we get back this 9U action. Of course, we got 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14 coming up right here on Rankins Uncut.
Oh, you think darkness is your ally? You merely adopted the dark.
It's gonna be like that all day!
I was born in it, molded by it. I didn't see the light till I was already a man. By then it was nothing.
They not ready.
We run these shit, y'all understand?
Yes, sir.
Welcome out to Rankings Uncut. We're going to jump right into 9U action, Clay. Teams that's in the rise and on the rise. Starting at 15, St. Louis Blackhawks out of Missouri, kicking it off. Rate Elite at number 14. Really got a good chance to watch them up close, man, in California. Really just saw them put in some good work. Terrence City Ducks out of Alabama. Terrence City back on the map once again. Of course, my man doing and holding it down out of Oklahoma, More Truth. This is a team that we thought a couple years ago really had some great potential to really pop in that top five. Couple pieces that they're missing, but listen, they're on the rise. They are definitely on the rise. And, of course, at the 11th spot, Louisville Dolphins out of Kentucky. And now at the number 10 spot at 9 and under, West Orlando Jags holding it down out of the state of Florida. And over there at the Deep South, TNS Cougars holding at the number 9 spot. At 8, Noonan Outlaws. Watched them play the number 1 team very tight not too long ago. Man, what an exciting game. A defensive team. I think this team could just run with anybody. I think they just want to punch their ticket and get down to the YNC and see what happens from then. Clay, one of your favorite teams, man. You watch them growing a little bit time. Like I told you, just need a little bit of offense, and I think this team can be all of that. The Glow-blooded Titans out of Texas. And listen, big tribe. Nobody wants to play this team. Big tribe, Wahoma Seminoles out of Alabama, can play with anybody in the country. And, of course, listen, went over to the West Coast. Number 21 is probably one of the most dynamic youth football players in 9U besides, of course, number 3 from the Miami Gardens Ravens. OG Ducks out of California holding it down. At the number 4 spot, listen, former national champion, removed just 1 year, came up short, played some of the toughest football. Look at their schedule. This is an example that we talked about, Clay. Georgia Eagles only lost to number 1 and number 2 in the country. They compete with anybody in the country, and they're not afraid, to jump right into the fire. Forget the smoke; they in the fire. Also, you got to respect Miami Gardens Ravens. Got probably one of the most dynamic, talented backs in the country. Just with that player alone, gives them the ability to beat and play with anybody. Number 3, the Miami Gardens Ravens, and of course, listen. Duval Jags going there with a big win, dethroning the AYF champs. Got to give all the props to Duval. Once again, Jags everywhere. You see and hearing this name on a lot of age groups. And, of course, the undisputed, undefeated national champ defending them and undefeated. They're taking on any and everybody. You may not like somebody wins. You may feel they win ugly sometimes. But what they're doing, they're winning. Win City Outlaws holding it down. So, man, that's your top 15 teams under 9 and under, Clay.
Hey, man, one thing I can say about Win City, like you put it perfectly. It may not always be a pretty win, but the one thing about it is there's definitely a goose egg in their loss column. So, hey, right. they get the job done. And, I mean, you got to respect it. You got to look at their body of work. I look at this list, man, and I see a list that I feel like is very, very different than it was from a year ago. I mean, of course, you've got Twin City, Miami Garden Ravens, Georgia Eagles. Those were your big 3 last year. But like you said, now Duval has jumped in the mix, and they're making their claim, to being the top dog. Not to mention, I feel like Wahoma and Gold-Blooded Titans bring something a little bit different this year. And when I saw number 21 in Cali, man, he looked completely unstoppable. So it's going to be interesting to watch this age division continue to unfold as the season pushes through.
Absolutely. So now, Clay, you up, man. You got your 10 and under.
All right. So let's roll with it. Let's go on here with 10U. Starting number 15 on the rise, we've got the Mac Dolphins out of North Carolina. Number 14, Knoxville Falcons out of Tennessee. Number 13, Tampa Jags out of Florida. Number 12, Bessemer Tigers out of Alabama. Number 11, Great Elite out of New York. And now we roll into our top 10 10Us in the country. Sitting at number 10, you have the OG Ducks out of California on 10U. The number 9 10U in the land right now, Maryland Heat. The number 8 10U, Rare Breeds out of Georgia. The number 7 10U, Pearland Hurricanes out of Houston, Texas. The number 6 10U in the country, Miami Garden Chiefs out of South Florida. Sitting at number 5, St. Louis NTB. And as we roll into our top 4, sitting at number 4, LA Chiefs out of California. Sitting at number 3, Renegades Coach United, also known as RCU out of Houston. The number 2 10U in the country, Duval Jaguars out of Florida. And then, of course, number 1 10U team in the country. They've won the YNC championship 2 out of the last 3 years. In my opinion, they are pound for pound the most complete youth football team in the country. Central DeKalb Jaguars, also known as Lambeau.
When you gonna let him know, Alfred? Come on in here, Al.
Oh my God! God damn it! You bullshit.
Oh
man, what happened?
We need to hear the voice of God right now.
AG,
where you at?
AG, Superman. AG in the building. All right, so it look like we coming back, Jonah. Look like we coming back.
Let's go ahead and we're gonna kick on that 10 right when we come back. As we get everything set on, we'll just run this commercial real quick and let everybody jump back on. Technical difficulty real quick. When we come back, 10 and under. Hey, welcome out to Rankings Uncut, man. We're getting ready to chop up this 10 and under real quick. That's a little technical difficulty. We're ready to rock and roll it. There's no pressure. We can read this list 100 times over and over again tonight, Clay. There's no pressure.
Hey, and it ain't gonna change, that's for sure. So let's get started with this 10 and under again. All right, so sitting at number 15, we have the Mac Dolphins out of North Carolina. Number 14, Knoxville Falcons out of Tennessee. Number 13, Tampa Jaguars out of Florida. Number 12, Bessemer Tigers out of Alabama. And sitting at number 11 on the 10U age division, Great Elite out of New York. Now, roll into the top 10. The number 10 10U in the country, OG Ducks out of California. Sitting at number 9, you have Maryland Heat, also known as the Wave. Sitting at number 8, Rare Breeds out of Georgia. Number 7, Pearland Hurricanes. Number 6, Miami Garden Chiefs out of South Florida. Number 5, St. Louis NTB. Number 4, LA Chiefs from the West Coast, California. The number 3 10U team in the country, Renegade Colts out of Houston, Texas. Sitting at number 2, Duval Jaguars. And then the number 1 10U team in the country, YNC defending champion, YNC champion 2 out of the past 3 years, and in my opinion, the number 1 pound for pound most complete youth football team in the country. Some people call them Central DeKalb Jaguars, but I just look at my man Howard and he yells Lambeau.
Lambeau definitely been doing it. They're not new to it. They've been doing it for a minute. But I want to give a shout out to the Jags, man, knocking off the other Jags in Florida. It was the battle of the Jags this weekend. Of course, if you know anything about Tampa Jags, they got a lot of talented skill positions on that particular team. So the Jags really doing some big things in the city of Duval. So, man, congratulations, Duval, coming in at number 2. Of course, hey, Lambeau holding it down at that number 1 spot. They're really going on with a nice consecutive streak. They have not lost since they lost to the Crew years ago. They've been rolling since then. So we got to start counting that streak right now, Clay.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I think right now they have the longest streak in the country.
Absolutely. Could be. Could absolutely be, man. Well, 11 and under. Very interesting age group. It's been dominated by a particular age team thus far, but I can tell you it's a lot of competition that's growing up, and would love to just see when these teams get down there on one particular football field and get ready to grind it out. Anything can happen. I can tell you 0-0 when you get down to South Florida at the YNC. But right now, coming in at the number 15 spot at the 11 and under, Illinois Elite out of Illinois, representing, coming bringing it in. Primetime Elite out of North Carolina. Trayman Elite. It's a lot of elites going on. I didn't even know. I didn't pay attention to this elite fad, man. Listen, this is no. If you're going to start a youth football team, just add elite to it. Get you a couple points. Trayman Elite out of Texas, holding it down at the number 12 spot. RMG Elite out of New York, and we're going to be done with the elites right now, holding it down at the number 11 spot, man. I gotta love it. And one team I can tell you that I saw in person, and probably one of the most dynamic 11U players on there, Clay, you got to talk about this kid. I know he represents Texas to the fullest, Renegade Colts United. We saw them against Rare Breeds, but just tell me how dynamic Cam is, man.
So you talking about Gabe?
Yeah, Gabe.
Gabe, man, the dude is next level. He's one of those kids that can take an average team and make them good and make a good team great. I've watched this kid put this team on his back for the past couple years, even before they were Renegade Colts and they were the U. And the thing about, or Cypress United, should I say? And the thing about it, man, he's one of those kids. He don't talk a lot. He not finna get out there and talk no noise. Coach is gonna tell him what to do, and he's gonna perform. And I will tell you this: if your defense doesn't account for where he's at on the field, whether we talking about offense or special teams, he's finna burn your ass for a 6-piece and no fries. He is a special talent that they have in Houston, Texas, and it's gonna be interesting to see what Renegade Colts decide to do this year on 11U, since they've already faced Rare Breeds and got a taste of why the YNC is the YNC. I'm hoping they regroup, win throughout their season, and get an opportunity to play at the YNC. But some people are telling me that they may be thinking about to go back and defend their national title that they won at AYF rather than come that route. So it'll be interesting to see how this thing unfolds.
100%. Now coming in at the number 10 spot, the best in Michigan right now that has to offer. Definitely making a splash and coming in the top spin. Hey, welcome to the top 10. Southfield Falcons bringing in that 10th spot at the 11 and under. Of course, City Life Raptors. Big expectations on the offseason. We're doing it big on paper. We'll see if that's going to continue for them to just kind of get on there. They had some big wins over at Cold War. Expect to see this team to start rolling as the season progresses. Now, another team, and you're hearing this again, Louisiana Tigers making noise at the 11 and under, making noise on the national level on 2 different age groups right now, Clay. And, of course, you're hearing it again once again, gold-blooded Titans, a very solid program all the way around. And, of course, Rob Mack taking over the younger group here now at Miami Gardens. Solid team. Need a little couple more pieces as they're starting to make their push for the national championship. You saw them go across to the West Coast early in the preseason, take on the OG Ducks, came out with a win. Came out with a dub, so congratulations once to Miami Gardens Ravens. And then, of course, the Boynton Beach Bulldogs out of the same area. Let me just tell you, a little bit north, get on I-95. Boynton, a tough football team, man. This is a team that you cannot sleep on at all. Boynton Beach has a lot of defense, a lot of linebackers that's flying to the ball. Most importantly, man, they can score. Now, team that you and I watch, Clay, and this team is getting better every week, Atlanta Elite out of Georgia, man, coming in at the number 4 spot. And, of course, we saw this one here in Alabama. A lot of people don't know about this team, Clay. And of course, they had some recent moves. But, man, they tore up the preseason with that Top Guns out of Georgia. And, of course, at the number 2 spot, hey, listen, a repeat of the YNC National Championships. You got to talk about a team that's just already taken off. They haven't really left off from anywhere but just where they was doing on their good vibes of where they left out in 2022, coming up short against the Rare Breeds. But they're right back at it. Look out for SED Wolverines at the number 2 spot. And, of course, holding it down, undefeated, back-to-back champs. The Rare Breeds are your 11 and under number 1 team right now, week 1. Clay, you was about to say something when I talked about Atlanta Elite.
No, I mean, I can tell you this, man. They really impressed me. Just the fact of the way that they came down to Texas and battled 2 heavyweights Saturday and Sunday, where most teams are always trying to talk about, oh, we'll take 1 heavyweight, but then our second one, we don't want one back to back, man.
Right.
They're definitely not dodging any smoke, and that's the thing that we're really looking for. This age bracket is going to be very unique, and reason being is because Rare Breeds is so dominant right now. When you look at this bracket, you say to yourself, or I say to myself, man, who can really challenge them? Well, SED probably is the closest team to them dominant wise that could challenge them. But then you start looking at some of these other pieces, man, and a team like the Louisiana Tigers with that quarterback number 10, that's a special kid. You look at RCU that has a special athlete in Gabe and how Rare Breeds totally dominated them. Then we talk about the Top Guns team that came down to Alabama and won the event. But I hear again, and I don't know what's true, what's not true. I hear 2 of the best players, or maybe one of the best players on that Top Guns team left and went to the Rare Breeds after that weekend.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. But the thing that really stuck out for me, man, is Rod Mack taking over that Miami Gardens Ravens 11U team.
Yeah, he was a head coach last year. Yeah.
He's always been one to, put on his firefighter outfit and go to the blaze. So the question is, has Rod Mack got conservative in his old age, or does he still got some rounds of boxing left in him at the YNC? Well, I guess only time will tell.
The kids that he had on that purple machine, man, are tearing up high school right now. I think they had a little something to do with it. When I tell you, running back is playing on Chaminade Madonna and just running through people the same way he was doing it on the youth level, I think that was generational talent that he had on one particular team. So he was a little spoiled. So he'll need to go to the drawing board a little bit harder this go around, just to kind of get even similar results of that talented team that he had back then with the purple machine.
Yeah, no, that was definitely a special team. That was definitely a special team. So, I tell you what, bro.
A lot of drama in this age group, my brother. A lot of drama in this age group. Nobody has been safe at 12 and under, Clay.
Hey, man, 12 and under has been the most theatrical age group so far this preseason.
Yeah.
And it rightfully so, it should be. I tell people every year, 12U is your premier age group when it comes to youth sports. Why do you think the Little League World Series only shows 12U on TV? They don't show all the other age groups. 12U is really the true last age as a youth before you become a teenager. And you can tell the experiences that go on right there. So let's talk about the top 15 12U teams in the country right now. Start at number 15, you have the I-35 Jackpot Boys out of Oklahoma. Now, Jonah, when the last time have we seen an Oklahoma team on our list this early in the preseason? Especially when we talk about 12U. Been a long time. These cats throw the ball well. Number 14, Arizona champions. And I can tell you this, we watched them up close and in person, should I say, and in California. And man, talk about a team that doesn't give up. Literally beat the IB Braves 12U on the last play of the game, or last special team play of the game. That's a team there, man. They definitely have the heart of a champion. Number 13, St. Louis Elite. Number 12, Rare Breeds out of Georgia. Number 11, OC Buckeyes. And now let's roll into the top 10 12U teams in the country. Plantation Wildcats sitting at number 10 out of Florida. Yeah. Number 9, Pittsburgh Panthers Elite, also known as PPE. Number 8, Fort Lauderdale Hurricanes. This is a team, man, that a lot of people are sleeping on. I
Yeah.
saw a live where they played RDU, and they gave RDU everything they could handle all the way to the very end. So we're talking about a four-time YNC national champion that they took to the wire. So this is a team that I think is going to be a dark horse this year, and a lot of people are going to be shocked at what they can do. Number
I agree.
7, Brick City Lions. Number 6, Maryland Heat, also known as the Mob. And I know this is a team that they felt like going to the YNC last year, man. They didn't leave with the way they wanted to leave. So they feel like they got
Right.
something to prove. Number 5, West Orlando Jaguars, who a lot of people say they have probably on that team the best 12U player in the country. Number 4, a team I saw in Alabama, a team that definitely shocked me when they took total control of our preseason event, Central DeKalb Dream Chasers out of
Yeah.
Georgia. The number 3 12U team in the country, four-time YNC back-to-back-to-back-to-back national champion.
Yeah.
Been there, done that. At one point they had, what was it, a 98, 99 game win streak?
Yeah.
RDU, also known as Real Deal University, the number 2 12U team in the country and defending AYF national champion, OG Ducks, who has decided this year, since they've already won AYF, they're going to try a different platform, a different stage, and see if they want to, push their kids and coaching abilities to the limit. So it'll
Yeah.
be great to see them guys finally on the big stage in South Florida with us. And then the number 1 12U team in the country, Dragon Elite Academy, also known as DEA, out of Texas.
And boys are nice, and I like it. And listen, don't sleep on RDU. They've been in that situation before, lost in the preseason, even lost a game in the regular season, and was able to turn it up in postseason. So don't be afraid that or don't just be kind of that this is all over with, that it's a 2-horse race. Absolutely not. Central DeKalb, I really like their offense. I love their quarterback, and they go vertical. So whenever you can go vertical and put pressure on that defense to make plays, Clay, something can happen. So it's a lot of talent in that 12U bracket. But, man, we're starting to sizzle to the big boys. This is our last commercial for the night. We'll make this a quick commercial. When we come back, it's 13 and 14U, and we out. Rankings done for the day. We get ahead and get ready for next week. So when we come back, 13 and 14U right here on Rankings Uncut. All right, ready for this 13U action, y'all. This was an exciting age group early in the preseason already. This was an exciting age group, of course, last year. A lot more drama was to it. Of course, we had other teams involved in it that's not involved this year. I mean, who remembers the Louisville Chargers on a 3 back-to-back-to-back national championship run? It was all part of this group, so it just made that competition that much better. I mean, Clay, how special was that Louisville Chargers team at the YNC?
Man, it might have been one of the most dominant, most complete teams that I've seen in recent years, and the reason I say that is because, of course, you can't take anything away from Rod Mack and the Purple Machine. You can't take anything away from DeMarcus and his first wave of Rev Reeds that came through. But what was special about that Louisville Chargers team is that nobody expected that to come from the Midwest. You expect it from Florida, you expect it from Georgia, Texas. You even expect, what the OG Ducks and the OC Buckeyes do on the 14U level from California. No one expected that from the Midwest. So I think that's what made everybody jump into the Louisville Charger frenzy.
Right. Absolutely. And them boys, they play week in and week out. And speaking of teams that's playing week in and week out, let's jump into this 13 and under action. Teams that's in the rising right now. On the rise at 15, Kansas City Outlaws. Yeah, they still got a squad there, man. They're bringing kids back, and they're competing out of the Midwest, probably one of the best teams in the Midwest right now. Of course, and I'll mention that at number 13 in a second. Of course, High Pilots out of California. Pilots with a 13U. Really would have liked to see them in the preseason take on the IB Braves out of California. So hopefully we'll see them go ahead and get some more action as we get closer to November and December. St. Louis Blackhawks at the number 12 spot, at the number 13 spot. And at the number 12 spot, listen, how do you go, Clay, from number 1 to number 12? Well, I can tell you how you do it. You take 2 big losses on a big stage, and right now they'll just have to gather themselves back up. Will DEA have enough to gather themselves and get back into the top 10 again? DEA all the way down and outside looking in right now. So they're right behind the Juliet Ravens out of Illinois. And, of course, now when you start talking top 10, North Philly Blackhawks out of Pennsylvania. A very scrappy squad. You're going to love seeing those teams play, and you're going to like seeing how that defense swarms to the ball. Cincinnati Bearcats, CBE, of course, they've been in the mix. They've been in the national championships. As a matter of fact, 2 years ago, played for national championships against that Louisville team. So they're very familiar how to stay into that mix. And a team that I really like, man, out of Georgia that I think you're really going to like seeing them play, they're going to end up taking on the Falcons United in the very near future. Is the Creekside Junior Seminoles out of Georgia. So now you talk about the top 10 of 9 and 8 and not 7. Listen, Clay, I know this team has the potential to finally punch it through. They've been in the top 5 before. Darius Boone and all those guys do a great job of just really holding us down to SRT boys. That's the North Carolina Giants. And a team, man, that's physical and can make a lot of noise. And I know usually they go AYF. Who cares, man? You got to give these people their flowers. They're very dominant on the football field. Give a shout out to the Southfield Falcons out of Michigan. Expect them guys to make some serious noise. And, of course, now in Florida, as we start approaching the top 5, Duval Jaguars. Duval. Don't let me say that wrong. Duval Jaguars. Make sure you got that right. Duval Jaguars coming in at the number 5 spot. At the spot, man, a lot of talent on this football team. Probably one of the most talented quarterbacks with Hayes at the quarterback. A lot of wide receivers, a big running back. I like their defense. Expect them. They can put a push for a national run. Falcons United out of Georgia. Hey, man, and this is where it gets dicey. You all watch it on live. We had everybody tune in this particular weekend. Just took a loss, and there's only really 2 top undefeated teams beside Falcon United right now. But this team just took a loss. But listen, I think they have top 1 and 2 talent in the country. I'm sure they're going to bounce back. IB Braves coming in at the number 3. And before I even announce who the number 1 team is, I'm getting the call in on the other side. I got my DJ hit me on this line. Let me just roll this video real quick for you guys real quick.
I want to give a big bless up to the Golden Army team, 13U squad. They ain't believe in us. God did. Congratulations on the big win. Y'all are winners. It's only right. When you're destined to win, you win more. And the definition of winning is keep winning. That's right. They ain't believe in us. God did. They ain't believe in us. Freezy did. Yo, Freezy, bless up. And bless up the team, the young world. Congratulations. Keep winning. Do not stop. Keep going. They ain't believe in us. God did. God did.
Let's do the trip, man. Hey, so the top 2 teams in the country come out, believe it or not, out of South Florida right now. At the number 2 spot, the Lauderhill Lions, and at number 1 spot, the Golden Army. And just for the mere fact, Clay, you talk about playing the Miami Gardens Ravens on a Friday night and then playing the number 1. And you say, well, you wasn't buying the number 1, but you got to remember that team that they beat are defending back-to-back AYF champions takes a lot to kind of get that done in one weekend. So they edge out the Lauderhill Lions, who has an amazing resume, beating DEA, also going to Southfield Falcons. So these two teams are really deserving to be at that number 1 and number 2 spot without a blemish on the record thus far in 2022.
Most definitely, man. Now, this is an age group that I'm super excited to see once we get down to South Florida with the YNC. I mean, you got the Golden Army, you got Lauderhill Lions.
Oh, and
you
speaking
got
of that, Clay, let me make it official. Freezy has made it official where he cannot change it. He's locked in to play the YNC National Championship this year. So you heard it here first. Golden Army will be at the YNC taking on all comers. Then they got to maintain through their season. So they still got some big games to play. And a big game coming up is going to be between Falcons United and Lauderhill Lions on the 17th of September. You and I will both be there. We're catching the plane. We'll be doing the live. So that position of 13, you will be in and out all year. But, man, you can't get better than that as that bracket.
You can't. I mean, you're going to have Golden Army, Lauderhill Lions, IB Braves, Falcons United, Duval Jaguars. I mean, if all 5 of these teams handle their business, it's going to be crazy. And like you said, next weekend, you and I will be in Florida. We're going to see the Lauderhill Lions and Falcons United, the number 2 and number 4 team in the country, lock up head-to-head. We'll be commentating. It's going to be crazy. So
no cussing on the commentating, Clay. No cussing on the
I know. You get upset when I commentate with you, so I'm going to do my best, man. I'm going to do my best. Well, look, man, I'm going to wrap up these rankings tonight with 14U.
Yeah.
As y'all know, with 14U, man, we do a top 10. So I'm going to start down. We're looking at 14U right now. Number 10 team in the country, Detroit Buckeyes out of Michigan. Number 9, you have the Hamilton Tigers out of Maryland. Number 8, 757 Colts out of Virginia, the DMV area. Number 7, Old Jarvis does it again. Maryland Seahawks out of Maryland. Sitting at number 6, you have Lakewood Spartans out of Florida, and I've been hearing a lot of buzz out of Florida about this team. Number 5, Mississippi Wolfpack out of Mississippi, of course. Number 4, Maryland Heat. A lot of people don't know that this Maryland Heat team is a combination of the Watkins and City Life team from last year. So you're talking about a team that's got lineage from 2 proven programs, man. That team should be special this year. The number 3 14U team in the country, LA Rampage, saw them 2 weeks ago versus the OG Ducks. Looked good, just couldn't seal the deal at the end. So it'll be interesting to see how they continue to adapt and change throughout the year. The number 2 team in the country and defending YNC 14U national champion, OC Buckeyes. And then, of course, the number 1 team in the country right now beat LA Rampage 2 weekends ago. We saw it firsthand. Keefe, OG Ducks, number 1 team in the country. But it's going to be interesting to see when the OG Ducks and OC Buckeyes lock up, man. That's one that I think if I can get a date early in advance, I might have to fly to Cali and see that one firsthand as well, too.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. That is definitely going to be one of the matchups in the world. And shout out to California, man. You're talking about top 3 teams coming out of Cali at the 14 under. So that's a big shout out, man. And listen, top 5 programs, since we talk about people just being dominant, man, Clay, you and I was having a conversation a little bit earlier, right? So let's pull up that conversation we had of the top 5 programs, starting at number 5, with 4 teams in the rankings this year right now in week 1. That's going to be SED Wolverines, 4 teams in the rankings right now. And at the number 4,
go ahead. Well, and that's the thing about it. Remember the joke last year, the joke 2 years ago was that SED there was a 1-level program. And then last year they had a team that was national runner-up, and then they had another team that won the consolation bracket at the YNC. Now we're talking about 4 age levels that are nationally ranked. Slowly but surely, that SED program has turned into, like you said, one of the top 5 Power 5 programs in the country.
Absolutely. And then you're talking about now a team that's just really established himself. Another team that was known as a 1-team level only. You know, you see DeMarcus with
True.
his dreads out in the football field with his 13U a couple years ago, and that was it. Rare breeds. Now, he's done an enormous job of really having the community rally around him. They love the Rare Breeds vibe now. You know, he's really building it, and 4 teams in the top 15. Very impressive on the Rare Breeds and what they're doing in Georgia, Clay.
Hey, man, and here's the thing about it. I've watched DeMarcus through this whole transformation from afar. I remember when DeMarcus was it when he with ABA at one point? Remember that?
Man,
He was at
he was with
ABA.
ABA. He was with
He,
Atlanta Ducks Elite.
Listen, man, when I first met DeMarcus, he was with ABA and he was soaking around the YNC because he had just lost either the first or second round. And
Right.
it was almost like, hey, it was almost like he had a transformation that day. I remember seeing DeMarcus sitting in that chair, just staring to himself. And I can tell you what, I ain't seen him lose very much since that day. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, that day I think changed him. He revamped, brought the Rare Breeds on, and he's been up and running since then. And like you said, for a long time, people were saying it was a one-level organization. Now, complete organization. You got 4 nationally ranked teams right now, in the top 10, top 15 in the country, man. It's not a lot of people that can say that at all, man. So hats off to my dude, DeMarcus, man. Great job.
Absolutely.
And all
Man,
the
and
Red
this
Breeds.
is super impressive what I'm about to tell you right now. First year program. I'm going to say it one more time. First year program. Just only a couple months ago, they got uniforms. They came up with a name. They came up with a whole, business philosophy and got their kids together. Right now, Atlanta Elite has 5 teams in the top 15 ranks on all these different levels, Clay.
Hey, Dylon. I spit hot fire. Atlanta Elite, that's how they feeling right now.
Right. Now, this particular organization is no stranger to being on the top, always putting multiple teams on different levels. And I tell you what, they kind of set the standard for youth football in the country. You got to just keep it real with them. Man, the OG Ducks with 5 teams ranked again. And this is not even their best year. I mean, I've seen the 11U, Coach Larry, do better. So they had the potential of really having 6 teams in there. But right now, just being dominant, the OG Ducks, dominant program setting the standard for youth football.
And the proof is in the pudding, man. Like I told you guys, man. Well, out of the 3 preseason events, California was the hardest one to get people to play in because nobody on the West Coast wanted to play the OG Ducks, which I don't understand that. I don't understand how one organization can strike fear into an entire coast, but now it makes sense on why Keefe has always been an advocate about the OG Ducks traveling to Texas, traveling to Florida, traveling to Georgia, and all these other different areas because, that's what they have to do to stay competitive, So, man, hats off to L, hats off to Keefe, Matt, the whole program, man. Great job you guys do.
Great job, Class Act. And a team that, or organization that's really taken Florida by storm, man, and the nation by storm. Duval Jags with 5 teams in the rankings themselves, just like the Ducks. Congratulations to the Jags, man, making a strong splash, and they want to make a push for the YNC on multiple levels.
Duval has, man, and we're not talking about just 5 ranked teams. We're talking about possibly 5 teams, and I'm not looking at all the brackets right now, but we're looking at possibly 5 teams all in the top 5 with 4 of them in the top 2 or 3. So we're talking about Duval may have an opportunity to win 5 YNC national championships this year, and a lot of respect to them, man, because again, since we've started this YNC thing, hey, like my man Jay say, we've been doing this 6-7 summers now. Hey, since we started this, bro, I have watched Duval get better and better and stronger every year, So hats off to those guys, man. They do a great job, and hey, it's going to be interesting to see how they end the season.
Absolutely. Well, listen, guys, the good thing about it, this is only week 1. The national championship will not be played this weekend. You do not have to purchase your tickets. You don't have to get your Airbnbs together this weekend. You got some time to get your life together and get your squad together, is what I'm saying. So, in other words, instead of blowing us up tonight or being pissed and telling us we missed your team or listen, it's week 1. Everything is going to shake itself out. We're not going to be as nut. You can leave us a nice friendly email. Let us know when your next big matchup is. Let's get it scouted. Let's start seeing you guys play some football. But it's not the end of the world. And for the teams that got the number 1 rankings, you're not safe. We're not going to just let you go ahead and hold the ranking and go to bed and close your door and turn off the lights. No. Turn the lights on. Put your football cleats on. You got to play some football. So it's 2 different spectrums we're talking about here, Clayton. Don't turn off the lights. Hey, and no suicide jumps. It's just week 1. We good. Take your time. Take your time.
Hey,
you do not need to read the news about head coach jumps off the roof because he was in the top 5. And if you send me, see, listen, this is what me and Clay, we love unconditional love, man. You got to love us through the good, love us through the bad. If you send me a text that's not becoming of you and the words are not forthright, I'm going to hold you to that text. Not 2 weeks later when you thinking we good and we cool. We ain't going to be good. I'm letting you know don't text me nothing crazy. Keep your mind like you want a long-term unconditional relationship. It's all about unconditional love. You feel me? Peace and love. Don't send me nothing crazy that you're going to regret in the morning because I ain't going to let you off the hook.
So a couple housekeeping notes for everybody that's involved with the YNC. If you took a look at the YNC Facebook page, you'll see all rosters, whether if you're in a league or you're an independent team, all rosters need to be submitted for certification into the email invite@youthnationalchampionship.com. Again, the email is invite@youthnationalchampionship.com by 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. That means Texas time on September 15th, guys. All right. Got to get those rosters in. Got to get it certified. If it's the official league roster document, send that in. Make sure that it has the player's full name, his jersey number, his date of birth, and what age level he's participating on. If you are an independent organization, it needs to have the player's full name, has to have the player's jersey number, date of birth, level they participate on. It needs to be either be in Excel format or a PDF format. Guys, please don't just send me an email with this information because I'm going to send it right back to you and say it's incomplete, guys. Also, remember, for our independents, our cutoff date is July 1st, 2022. It's how old the kid is on that day. So if the kid is 13 on that day, he plays 13U. If the kid is 12 on that day, he plays 12U. All right? Now, if you are a team that participates in the YNC and you are part of a league, second rule of our bylaw states that your league cut or your cutoff date has to be what your original league cutoff date is. So if you're in a July 31st league, all your kids need to fall under those July 31st rules. If you're August 1st, all of them need to fall under August 1st or whatever your particular dates are. So guys, let's get this housekeeping business taken care of because the last thing we want is for you and your kids to go through an amazing season and we can't verify your players or your roster or the games you've played because of something so simple as sending the email. All right. I see some guys ask on here, what's the dates for nationals? I'm going to give you the dates again. Division I YNC Nationals will be from December 5th through December 11th. Division II YNC Nationals will be from December 12th through December 18th. When I say we, Jonah and I, will have more information for you guys on the Division II teams, the selection process, and things like that. I've gotten a ton of emails. I've gotten a ton of DMs. Jonah has as well, too. Guys, we're going through all our emails, all our DMs, making sure we're not missing nobody. So when we evaluate this Division II, we're going to give it just the same type of tender love and care that we give D1 so we can make sure to provide the best experience for these kids and these parents. So that's all you got from me, Jonah.
So that means in French, Thursday, 11:59, next Thursday, because I know sometimes these coaches don't get dates and days tied together. Thursday of next week, 11:59, rosters need to be submitted if you intend to play for a national championship. One more time, Spread it, screen record it, however you want to do it for your whole facility, for your whole program. 11:59 next Thursday. Rosters need to be turned in complete. So we go ahead and get you guys turned up and get ready. It used to be the 30th. Don't no longer look at those dates. It's been shifted as of 2022. 15th is your date. That's your date. Anything else, Clay?
Man, that's it, man. I tell you what, I had sent some rules to AG to put up there, but you know what, AG? Hey, don't worry about it, man. We're not going to put it up there. It's getting kind of late. The official 2022 YNC rules will be on the Facebook page, if not tonight, first thing tomorrow morning. So, guys, make sure you get them rosters in, get on the Facebook page, read through all the rules, make sure you understand everything, because we are not going to be wavering on anything, guys. We got to do this thing the right way. There's a new standard that's got to be set, because we got to claim good quality and safe youth football back for these kids, these parents, and these volunteers.
100%, man. Well, thank you for tuning in, man. Week 1 is under our belt. You'll be getting all those rankings posted everywhere. Go ahead and share them, send them out. Hey, week 2, man, you got a chance. If you don't like the rankings, you got a chance to do something about them this week. Get on that football field, punch somebody in their mouth. We'll make sure we update it right here on Rankings Uncut. Of course, my man in the background on the 1s and 2s, my man Alfred, AG Production, the best in the business. My man Clinton Guillory, no cussing allowed. And of course, myself, Jonah Willard, Generation Next, man. We'll see you next week right here on Rankings Uncut.